newspaper is Akron's #1 voice for urban press. So when events like this happen, we have to be out here to show everybody this black excellence. And speaking about black excellence,
live from luxurious Akron, Ohio, you're watching Blerd City.
I love that intro. Cam Carson in the building. Listen, it's Blerd City. You know what we do every day about this time, but specifically for you, every week about this time. Cam, tell everybody when we say Blerd City, what do Blerd mean?
It means comic books, video games, movies, television from a black perspective.
I like that, man. So, you know, first off, I often call it a blessing to be sitting up here with a comic book artist such as yourself, a person that owns his own comic book company, and a person who can draw his ass off. For the reason I would never draw again. How you feel being that dope of an artist, man?
Oh, man, well, number one, I greatly appreciate that. Number two, there's a lot of talented artists in Akron. I mean, this countless. I could go on and on, but everybody inspires everybody. I'm very, very fortunate to know you and to have this outlet. It's just a great place to be, great thing to do.
You get paid for what you do, though. You get paid for your art. Now, we heard about the term struggling artist.
Yes.
You are really getting paid from some of the smut you peddling across the community and across the digital divide and everything. Well, I don't mean smut.
I wouldn't say that.
No, but you draw some nice pictures. Tell everybody what pinup art is.
Well, pinup art is, it goes way, way back. I mean, if you really want to get technical, it goes back thousands of years. But let's just keep it in the 20th century. Pinup art probably exploded in popularity during like World War II, where art was pinned up, and it was usually of curvy girls, you know, dressed one way or another, and the art would be pinned up. It also gained the name cheesecake art.
Why they call it cheesecake art?
Supposedly, somebody came along and said, "Wow, this is sweeter than cheesecake."
Wow.
For some reason that stuck, and it became cheesecake art. So if you ever hear anybody talking about cheesecake art, it's pinup art. Same thing.
Okay, well, listen, of course, this is my man Cameron Blakey, the artist extraordinaire. He got a comic book company. We're going to talk about that before we get out of here. But right now, the subject at hand, the subject matter to make the pocket fatter, some of that intel for you to excel. We're going to talk about the top 3 reasons Marvel or DC is better for you or to you. I'm gonna let you go first. Who you think the best, Marvel or DC? Now we go a lot of different ways.
For sure.
We're just talking about the comic book at hand, not the movies yet, just the comic books.
Just the comic books. For me, just the comic books. I started with Superman. Superman was my first superhero. Like Superman taught me how to read. Like, we go back that far.
Okay.
So Superman and things from DC.
So DC is okay. Yeah, so DC. Superman will be your #1.
Yeah, he would have to be my #1 just because he's the first superhero I ever knew.
So we're saying DC is better than Marvel because of Superman overall.
Oh no.
That's what we're talking about.
Well, all right. Now if you're talking about comic books, DC versus Marvel. Comic books in general, across the board, all the characters, I would have to say Marvel. Okay,
here we go. Explain. Give me the top 3 reasons why Marvel would be better than DC.
Well, #1 for me, Marvel is #1 because Marvel is more so regular people who dress up as superheroes, whereas DC is superheroes who dress up as regular people to blend in. I think Marvel characters are more relatable because they're more realistic. Like, you know, most Marvel characters, if you saw them across the street, you wouldn't know who they were. unless they put their costume on.
Unless you're talking about Beast.
Unless you're talking about a handful
Colossus,
of characters.
I can keep
right,
going.
Right. There are plenty of characters who look like superheroes, but you know,
or look deformed.
Right. But if you saw the Fantastic Four,
Come on now.
You not in uniform, they look like 4 people.
All except the Thing, Brother Ben.
True.
Right.
But it's like they don't wake up in the morning with their costume on.
Okay.
Most Marvel characters don't wake up, they don't wake up with their costume on. Like they are regular people who just so happen to have superpowers. Whereas DC characters, you know, Superman is Superman. He'll dress up like Clark Kent to blend in. That's his costume. His costume is Clark Kent.
Come on now. Wonder Woman the same. I feel you. So I see what you're putting down. I pick up what you're putting down.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a third reason why Marvel will be better than DC.
I think that Marvel is also better than DC because it's more grounded. I think their stories are more grounded. There are plenty of Marvel stories that take place out in space, in other universes and multiverses and all of that. But there's a lot of Marvel stories that take place, you know, in places like New York or places that are relatable to the reader. And the things that the characters go through are real world, real life situations. You have, you know, teenage, characters like, you know, when the Fantastic Four came out, they were younger, more geared toward the teenagers, and they dealt with young people issues. So they were super relatable. It's hard to relate to, cosmic beings and things like that.
Okay, so let me give my top 3. Well, first off, I believe DC comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the DC universe, I like that more.
Mm-hmm.
Notice I didn't say better; it's better. Right. I said I like that and prefer it more. Number one, let's go with the fundamental understanding while we even talking comic books.
Right.
We're gonna talk about, and don't hit me. We're gonna talk about the Messiah of all superheroes, the Jesus Christ of all superheroes, the one our Jewish brothers from Cleveland, Ohio, created.
Yes.
Superman.
Okay.
Yes. Without Superman, there will be none of that shit you talking at all whatsoever, because he's the foundation of what it is a superhero. Right. And then the one that comes, I'm just hitting you right back to back. And then the one that comes right from up under that, they say, we need to get some of this Superman money from the same company, right? Now, you already know people was copying the Shazam or the Captain Marvels and all that, but this is how Superman gave birth to the genre as a whole, right?
For sure.
So they said, you know what, let's create Batman. Okay. Now, they took that and made him a little more spookier, went around another way with it. But I like the fact they put adult psychotic situations in Batman, okay?
Yes.
Of course, with the Superman situation, he lost his mom and dad through some horrific planet blowing up. There's an alien amongst us.
Right.
Or is that the Messiah, okay? Jehovah. We can go all over the goddamn place with this thing, right? But now we have Batman in the loop, out here running around as a psychotic son who lost his damn mommy and daddy through a horrific gunshot, bang, bang, whatever. Now he's messed up, okay? Which is why he gets along with his rogue of villains, because he's one of them. Not a villain, but he's just as crazy as one of them, right?
That's an
So again, I'm talking about the reason why I like DC better is because guess what? The foundation is Superman. That's why we're talking about it all. My personal favorite is Batman and the whole damn thing. Yeah. The whole canon, his whole thing, from his son to his arch nemesis to everything. Yeah. That makes for great reading.
For sure.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
Every time I turn around, my wife is giving me goddamn catalogs and stuff to read with stuff I didn't even know that you could still get, and she finds it for me, okay?
Man.
And number 3, the reason why I think DC is, I prefer DC over Marvel, simply, it is like what you said, These are gods like
Yes.
Superman, Wonder Woman, and stuff like those are gods in our midst that's dressing up as human, trying to live the ordinary life and bring that God degree, okay, even Batman with his psychotic self, that God degree to an unnormal set of circumstances as it plays out on Earth. Now, there's 1,000 other reasons I can give you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
I can give you why I prefer DC. I can get to naming different characters, right?
Oh, yeah.
First off, I don't like my superheroes furry, blue, looking like monsters, little monkeys and stuff. Those are mutants and those are deformities over there. Okay? I'm just keeping it a buck, bro. Hey, man, listen, man. I love when you come through. I love doing this Blerd City and everything. Let's talk about your stuff in the current news. What's going on with your new comic book? Let's talk about it.
Oh, wow. Well, the newest comic book is called Hokum and Friends. It's about a coffee drinking cat who has an undeserved sense of achievement. He gets into a lot of crazy.
He's a narcissist.
Adventures. Well, I wouldn't say a narcissist. I don't think he cares enough to be a narcissist. I think he's more of a slacker cat. There's plenty of humor, plenty of lovable characters there, and it's doing pretty well, and I'm pretty proud of it.
All right, let's talk about the one that came out a little bit before that, because you hitting them back to back. Let's talk about that one.
The one before that is called Apricot. It's a graphic novel. It's a little more serious. There's science fiction, drama,
smut.
There is.
What's going on with you and this smut?
Occasional smut.
Smutting going on.
Well, I'll explain. I have a lot of influences that are like, it's like there's really three major brands of comics around the world, I would say.
Okay.
There's North American comics, which are usually glossy, digital colored, polished, a lot of violence, not a lot of sex or erotica or anything like that.
Right.
There's European comics that appear more raw, more hand done, plenty of sex and eroticism, no violence whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like Japanese comics or South Korean comics where you can find a little bit of everything. Like whatever you're looking for, they have it covered. I would say a lot of my early influences were European comics like Druna. The artists were like Paolo Serpieri, Milo Manara. A lot of their work looked to me like movies on paper, and it usually dealt with more so, I wouldn't say smut, but eroticism,
freak dog stuff going on.
There was a lot going on in European comics, but not as much violence as North American comics. Like in our comics here, you can kill a gazillion people in the comic book, nobody cares.
Right.
If you show one scene where there's eroticism or some kind of adult situation, that gets everybody's attention. Whereas with European comics,
you can't show nobody hitting it the dog style in your comic book? I didn't see that.
No. You can.
Okay.
You can and you would. I'm saying that's more so. It's more prevalent in other parts of the world where nobody cares. Whereas here, if you show violence, nobody cares. But if you show people having sex, it's a big deal. Whereas if you show violence in, say, a European comic, that's what'll get people's attention.
Okay, well, speaking about getting people's attention, what's the name of your comic book company so they too can get some Vaseline or whatever the hell they need to enjoy your smut publishing? No.
Well, if you'd like to enjoy my smut, you can find it at Cameron Blakey Art on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or you can purchase the books on lulu.com. The link is lulu.com/spotlight/Cameron Blakey. And yep.
That's dope. Hey man, listen, I was just playing. This art is definitely incredible. And who knows? however you want to enjoy his art, it's up to you. Listen, this is another edition of Blerd City. I'm your brother, Hiram King, with the grand, incredible Cameron Blakey. We out here. Take us out of here, Cam.
Thank you for watching. You've been watching Blerd City.